Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good day everyone. Today I would like to present a research entitled The Use of Malaysian Model of Pictorial Vocabulary for Virtual Learning Among Lower Secondary ESL Students in Malaysia. My name is Muhammad Hanif and I am from the Sultan Idris Education University of Malaysia. Before we look into deeper detail, let us start with the introduction. Learning vocabulary is a component that has only been indirectly integrated into the four core skills of reading, writing, listening, and speaking that make up the standard-based English language curriculum SBELC. A standard-based English language curriculum is the curriculum used across nationwide among the schools in Malaysia. Students with a limited range and knowledge of vocabulary will find it challenging to learn and utilize English regularly as vocabulary is integrated indirectly within the teaching of English language during class or in class. Next is the problem statement. Malaysian students have yet to acquire the desired vocabulary styles and master the English vocabulary as defined by the Malaysian Standard-Based Curriculum English Language Syllabus, as stated by Wang and Yamat in 2019. Therefore, this study aims to resolve this issue by proposing a Malaysian model of pictorial-based vocabulary learning that aids students in their vocabulary learning remotely. This is because virtual learning is currently very popular among students after the COVID-19. This model is also designed to create a sustainable method for students to participate in the virtual learning of vocabulary, as nowadays the integration of technology in education is vastly used or implemented across nationwide, especially in Malaysia. Based on the research problem, the researcher has derived these two research objectives. The first research objective of this study is to develop a Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning to be used by Malaysian lower secondary ESL students based on the word list provided in the standard-based English language curriculum for virtual learning. And for the second research objective, the researcher intend to investigate the effects of using Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning for virtual learning among lower secondary ESL students in Malaysia. Based on these two research objectives, these research questions are being developed. The first research question is how to develop a Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning to be used by Malaysian lower secondary ESL students based on the word list provided in the SBELC for virtual learning. And the second research question is, what is the effects of using Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning for virtual learning among lower secondary ESL students? Based on the relevant literature related to the study, due to COVID-19 pandemic, learners have been attending school remotely via various online arrangements to replace the in-class instruction that cannot be afforded during when everybody has to be at home, thus causing a shift to a learning style reminiscent of homeschooling or online education. Previous studies also suggest that the inclusion and integration of technology for vocabulary learning could bring much needed improvement to the learning process. This could infuse novelty, innovation, creativity, interest, and fun into the vocabulary learning activity as stated by Tahir et al. In 2020. This is because usually and most of the time when the learning is integrated by technology, the student will find the learning more engaging because the learning promotes interactive learning as it used a various method of technology enhanced medium to help students to learn English language, and in this case vocabulary, as it will improve or help them to learn the target word so that their vocabulary knowledge will be improved significantly. Next, moving into the methodology of the research. In terms of the sample and also the sampling technique, about 150 from lower secondary ESL students from various schools in Malaysia were selected as the sample. And a non-probability sampling technique was used to choose the participants. The non-probability sampling is often referred to as the sampling of convenience of or availability, which includes the use of subject available to the researcher, as stated by Macmillan and Schumacher in 1993. And in terms of the research procedure, this research implement a mixed method research design which involve procedure for collecting, analyzing, and mixing both quantitative and qualitative research and methods in a single study to understand a research problem, as stated by Creswell 2014. This study or this research implement the use of this research instrument. The first research instrument is a well-developed Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning that has been proposed by the researcher in terms of the intervention of this research. The second the second instrument used in this study is the students' evaluation form as a form of a survey or questionnaire to collect data from the participants. And last but not least, to further enhance the data or the findings, an interview session were conducted to get a better analysis of the data and also to confirm the findings from the students' evaluation form. In terms of the data analysis method, both quantitative data analysis as well as the qualitative data analysis have been used to analyze the data. For the quantitative data analysis, the questionnaire in the form of students' evaluation form were descriptively evaluated in terms of the mean and standard deviation of responses for each item, and SPSS version 29 was used to analyze the data. For the qualitative data analysis, the responses of the students from the interview are classified or coded according to researchers' associated category or themes using NVivo. Now, we will look into the findings of the study. All right. The first finding of the study is the Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learning. This model involved three steps. The first step is the teacher begins by selecting the target words from the SBELC. And these target words are separated into four groups presented in one of the four modes. The first mode is text mode, which involve the use of target words, categories, Malay equivalent, as well as example of second sentences. The second mode is text picture mode, which involve textual information as above, plus pictures to illustrate the target words. The third mode is text sound mode, which involve textual information with the audio recording of how the target words are pronounced. And last but not least is the text picture mode, text picture sound mode, which involve the textual information as above combined with the pictorial as well as the audio elements. These four different modes are used to present the target words in order for the students to learn the vocabulary in a better manner. Next, Malaysian model of pictorial vocabulary learnings. Words from various parts of speech, nouns, verb, and adjective are included in each mode. Students will administer a pre-vocabulary assessment at this stage. During the intervention stage, teachers have used websites containing these target words every day, from Monday through Friday at a different time twice a day. And this activity or the intervention lasted for 4 weeks with a different style of vocabulary presentation used by using different modes each week. Students have subsequently studied the target words by the end of the intervention stage. This is the example of the website used to present the target words for the students. Now, I am going to present on the analysis of the students' feedback form. Based on the survey or the questionnaire, the average score for this overall section is 4.47 with a standard deviation 0.626, indicating a significantly high mean score. The findings suggest that students have expressed positive feedback regarding the pictorial vocabulary model, as they find that the pictorial vocabulary model has actually helped them to learn the target words effectively. The highest mean score implies that most students strongly agree that vocabulary modules are easy to read and comprehend, with a mean 4.78 and standard deviation 0.457. Students also find the vocabulary model highly interesting and consider the workload associated with them to be fair. Moreover, with a considerably high mean score of 4.72, the students agree that the target words are taught at an appropriate level and also paced. However, 10 students were unsure whether they would continue utilizing the vocabulary modules as part of their learning activities. And this is represented by the mean score of 4.59 and standard deviation 0.614. Only out of 96 over 150 students expressed motivation to learn more vocabulary during the activities. Furthermore, almost half of the students perceive the vocabulary module as challenging. Overall, students have a highly positive perception of using the pictorial model for vocabulary learning. This questionnaire is further uh, analyzed into three different themes based on personal experiences, vocabulary lessons, and instructors' instructions. In order to explain on the three different themes, I would like to go or to explain to you the semi-structured students interview. A total of 66 participants were interviewed in this study. All 22 male students and 45 female students were 14-year-old, exhibiting low proficiency level of English language. These participants were provided a diverse responses, or these participants provide a diverse responses to the interview session encompassing three main themes, which are personal experiences, vocabulary lessons, and instructors' instructions. Regarding personal experiences, 10 students expressed agreement that the modules featured interesting text and graphics. They also mentioned that the certain modules contain lengthy text necessitating a strong internet connection for access. Furthermore, 13 students highlighted that the websites was user-friendly and provided valuable knowledge. This is further explain why many students find that the the use of pictorial vocabulary learning modules or model has benefited them extensively. When it comes to vocabulary lessons, these students unanimously expressed a preference for Module 4, with showing less enthusiasm for Module 1. Why? Because Module 4 has a very appealing visual, interactive audio components, and engaging graphics as compared to Module 1. On the other hand, their dissatisfaction with Module 1 stems from its sole reliance on text, as Module 1 focused more on text per se. Based on the guideline provided by the instructor, the majority of students recommended incorporating additional pictures and video on the website. As a summary, the modules featured interesting text and graphics. However, the students mentioned that there are certain modules contain lengthy text necessitating a strong internet connection for access. Secondly, all students unanimously expressed a preference for Module 4, which showing less enthusiasm for Module 1. The majority of students recommended incorporating additional pictures and videos on the website, which indicate attractive pictures and interactive audio elements. Nonetheless, the students noted the absence of a practice section, which prevented them from practicing before engaging in the real sessions. In terms of the discussion, this study indicates that incorporating the pictorial model of vocabulary learning into English teaching methods can lead to more efficient learning for students, facilitating their acquisition of the target words. The students, based on the intervention from the module, they found out they have actually learned the target words better, and they have actually acquired the target words according to their expectation. Consequently, it is recommended that educators and curriculum designers consider integrating the pictorial model method to facilitate the development of vocabulary skills, particularly for individuals with limited proficiency in English. In conclusion, it can be deduced that the implementation of the pictorial model of vocabulary learning yields a significant success in facilitating the acquisition of target words among lower form of ASL students of secondary school. This is because the students have actually learned the target words better when they use the pictorial model. The adoption of the pictorial model of vocabulary learning has enhanced students' vocabulary retention and is particularly beneficial for students with limited language skills, warranting the provision of diverse learning strategies and instructional support tailored to their needs by curriculum designers and English teachers. This is because the students were able to retain the target words in their long-term memory as well as their short-term memory by using the pictorial model. In terms of the recommendation for further research, future research can expand upon these findings through a survey studies involving a larger sample size, exploring the effectiveness of pictorial vocabulary instruction not only for the EFL or for the ESL learners in Malaysia, but also learners from different countries globally. The future research also suggests to select participants from a different age group or educational form, and last but not least, future research has to take into account variation in terms of gender, family background, and race among the selected samples. These are the references or the main references used for the study. With that, I thank you.